Welcome to this, the fifth video of our Reminiscence series, and we're going to be talking about games today. I'm going to start off with Meccano, which a lot of people remember very fondly. Not me, I have to say. So Meccano were these construction sets, basically. Lots of metal parts that you had to screw and bolt in, lots of little bolts and screws to get lost, which is why I wasn't very fond of it, and quite a complex. You could make, as we can see from here, truly complex constructions here. This being a crane, and this is what always fazed me, all the different parts which invariably with me got lost. But were you a Meccano fan? And did you have good fun? I was more of a Lego person, I have to say. But yes, lots of people remember Meccano. Very resilient and obviously made of metal. Lasted a long time. I particularly like, somebody's been very, very thorough here and put all their little bits of Meccano into these tins. And that makes a lovely collection. And of course there were models that you could buy. This is a strange little one. I'm not sure how old this actually is. Balsa wood. So I would imagine quite a cheap toy, simple toy of its time. Of course, which are really collected are the Corgi Toys. I think this is actually, yeah, this is a Corgi. You would get these models which were specific to series that were appearing on television. So I don't know if you can make out that one. It is a white Volvo car from a particular series, which I liked at the time, in the 60s, went into the 70s. I'll come back to that one and see if you can guess. White Volvo car, whose car was that? What series was that? American car there. A lot of American stuff appearing on television. I had a Batman car, which I really liked. Now, a Scottish model here, these cars here, Imps, Hillman Imp, which were actually made in Scotland. Rear engine car, two lovely little models there. So let's go back to that white Volvo car. Do you remember what series that was from? Well, it was the Saint. That's what I remember, Roger Moore, and I'm sure he drove one of those. The great thing about childhood is using your imagination. So I'm sure we all used to use cardboard boxes and anything we could find to make things up. But here we have two examples of really good models where they're obviously very much based on the real thing. Here anyway, with this lovely till that I would think was probably 1950s. A lot of children played shops. Did you play shops? What did you use for your produce and what did you use for your money? Well, this, now we wouldn't have had this when we were children, but if I press here and the till opens, it is full of money. In fact, this would have been an awful lot of money back in the 50s and 60s. So we've got half a crown. More likely we would have been playing with halfpennies and pennies. A lovely threepence there as well. So as I say, that's a lovely model of the time. And look at this phone. And again, I would think this is probably 1950s. Not just a phone, actually a money box as well, but actually it's a functioning phone. So you can actually make it ring of sorts and of course then answer the phone. But two lovely models of the time. And of course, what children love to do is mimic what adults are doing in the workplace. And this is a lovely little tin typewriter. You can see all the keys here printed out, but obviously they don't operate. You actually move this round to get the correct letter. We've got the ribbon, ink ribbon here, and you do actually put a piece of paper in here So it is actually a functioning typewriter, but you select your letter and you press that there. Now in the Wee Museum of Memory here, we have quite a few typewriters, and being very hands-on, children particularly like playing with proper typewriters just because it's so lovely and mechanical. Now this is something that really does bring back a lot of memories for people. We have a couple of these scrap books. Now, do you remember scraps? These were the great things to swap, and this is what they look like. So these are flower ones, and you'd collect these, or you'd buy them, and then you'd swap with your friends. If they had something particular that you wanted, you swap. And I've heard that angels were always particularly popular. And you know, it's no good for collectors, of course, but I love, and we love in the Wee Museum of Memory, anything that shows it's been written in and actually properly played with and used. I also love the cover. It's a proper scraps cover. Something else that we have here, which still in its original packet, plasticine. And I think that's a little hard, but I'm sure that could be worked. But particularly in school, I remember plasticine being a great thing to play with and model with. Do you remember plasticine? Do you remember the smell of it and the feel of it? And would you remember the taste of it? Because I do remember people trying to eat plasticine. Now, do you remember what this is? Well, of course, it's a Viewmaster. And this, I suppose you could say at the time, this was the height of sophistication. Obviously, we didn't have smartphones and able to look at stuff, any stuff we want. This was it. And actually, do you know what? It's still quite effective. So you'd get your little photos on here. You'd slip that into there, and then you'd put that up to the light and look through, and you'd get this amazing 3D effect. Really, really wrap around, as they would now say. And this is particularly quite an early Viewmaster. And you'd be able to get different subjects. So we've got a whole range of stuff here. Obviously a lot of Disney. I don't know if this is all Disney stuff. Do you remember Viewmaster? Were you lucky enough to have one? And did you have a particular set of these that you really, really liked? I seem to remember one about the moon as being a very one that sticks in my mind. And then of course there are boxed games or construction things, and it's the packaging, isn't it, which is so evocative, and why, I suppose, another reason these things are so collected. So very much of the time, Pom Pom Pets by Spears Games. I remember a lot of things Spears did. Do you remember having something like that? And stencils. I do remember doing stencils both at home and at school. And again, look at that for a lovely, evocative packaging. Lovely smiling children. And again, this is a fantastic, still extremely colourful. And now if you notice also, this is St Michael's, which was the brand name of Marks and Spencer's at the time. And this one here is quite something, isn't it? And we spoke about, when we were talking about model cars, about toys being linked in with television at the time, up and coming in the 50s, 60s, and obviously the 70s. Stingray, what a fantastic program, absolutely love that. Do you remember the song that went with Stingray? And of course, after that was Thunderbirds and those other big series at the time. But this is a lovely, lovely set, still complete, I have to say, with all its slides and projector. So we're going to go outside again with our games and look at this lovely pair of roller skates, lovely heavy metal ones with the leather strap at the back, a little screw where you'd pull them to adjust them to your size of shoe or foot. Did you go roller skating? Did you go roller skating on the street? Or you could go to places to actually do roller skating. Way back in time, the big place in Edinburgh on Portobello was Marine Gardens, and it was very much in the 30s a craze for adults to be roller skating. Did you have some adventures on roller skates? Did you fall off them? Sure I did. And again, outside, skipping. Lots and lots of people remember the skipping. Not only this is obviously for a single skipper, but you would have longer skipping ropes. And do you remember skipping games and skipping rhymes and songs? Certainly a lot of people will be able to, I'm sure at this very moment, start singing one of their favourite skipping songs. So I hope that's brought back some memories for you about games. I'm sure it's a subject we will return to. Next week, well, who knows what we'll do next week, but if you have any memories, if you'd like to send in video and memory and send it in to us, we'd be very happy to put it into our YouTube channel. In the meanwhile, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to find out more about us, it's www.livingmemory.org.uk. Thanks again.